Do you know that some people grow old peacefully while others end up bitter, lonely, and filled with regret? At first glance, it might seem like luck or genetics, but it's not. After 80 years of watching people age, I can tell you misery has patterns. Certain types of old people end up trapped in their own bitterness, repeating the same mistakes that slowly drain the joy from their final decades. And the truth is, most of them never realize which kind they become until it's far too late. In this video, I'll share the 5 types of old people who live miserable lives. These aren't about money or health or luck. They're about mindset, behavior, and the quiet choices that shape every day after 60. If you recognize even one of these in yourself, it's not too late to change. I've seen people in their 70s turn their lives around after realizing which type they'd fallen into. I've also seen others cling to their pride, growing colder and lonelier each year. So, as you listen, ask yourself honestly, which one am I slowly becoming? Because once you see it, truly see it, you can choose a different path. Let's begin with the first. Number 1, the complainer. Among the most miserable types of older people, the first is the constant complainer. They've spent so many years focusing on what's wrong, what's unfair, what's missing, what's painful, that it becomes their entire personality. They wake up scanning the world for new reasons to be disappointed. When you visit them, you can almost feel the heaviness in the air. Every topic circles back to how things were better before or how no one cares anymore. At first, you might feel sorry for them. You might even try to cheer them up. But soon, you realize they don't want solutions. They want sympathy. Their complaints are, "I once knew a man named Harold, 78 years old. Every time I saw him, he'd rant about the government, the neighbors, his children, his health, his past. Nothing ever seemed right. Over the years, friends stopped calling. His children visited less. Not because they didn't care, but because being around him drained them. When Harold passed, few people came to his funeral. Not out of disrespect, but because, truthfully, most of them had already emotionally said goodbye years before." The tragedy of the complainer is that their unhappiness becomes self-fulfilling. The more they complain, the lonelier they get, and the lonelier they get, the more they complain. If you recognize yourself here, even a little, pause and take inventory. Ask, do I talk more about what's wrong than what's right? It's never too late to shift your focus. Start by expressing gratitude, even for small things. The sunlight, the laughter of a grandchild, a warm meal. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it rebuilds your connection to life itself. Because the truth is, this misery doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from the story we keep telling ourselves about it. Change that story, and you change your entire world. Number 2, the controller. The second type of old person who ends up living miserably is the controller, the one who can't let go of how things should be. These people spent much of their lives managing, organizing, and commanding. And when retirement or aging takes away that power, they panic. They start trying to control what's left. Their children, their grandchildren, even the smallest details of daily life. They call their son 3 times a day to remind him how to raise his kids. They criticize their daughter-in-law for how she cooks or the way she talks. They even correct. She had 3 children, all successful in their own ways. But she couldn't resist micromanaging their lives. She told her oldest how to spend his money, her daughter what to wear, and her youngest where to live. Each time she said it was because she cared, but the truth was her care came with strings. Over time, her children stopped sharing their lives with her. They didn't want to be scolded every time they called. The controller believes love means shaping people into what they think is best. But real love in old age means letting others live freely, even if they stumble. It's realizing that your worth isn't tied to how much control you have, but how much peace you can give. If you find yourself correcting others too often, pause and ask, am I helping, or am I holding on? The moment you stop trying to manage everyone, you'll feel something you haven't felt in years. Relief. Because peace isn't found in control. It's found in trust. Trust that you've already raised, taught, and loved enough. And now it's time to let life take its course. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, the isolator. Another kind of misery in old age comes from isolation. Not the kind that happens by accident, but the kind we quietly build for ourselves. These are the people who slowly withdraw from others, telling themselves they're just fine alone, when deep down they're not. They stop visiting friends. They stop picking up the phone. They convince themselves that people are too busy or no one understands anymore. But the who used to be the life of every gathering. In his younger years, he hosted barbecues, helped neighbors fix their roofs, and was the first to show up when someone was in need. But when his wife passed, something inside him closed. He stopped going out. When his children called, he said, "I'm fine. Don't worry about me." Yet, every night, he sat in his recliner, staring at the clock, hoping someone would call again. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a slow poison. Studies have shown it can weaken the immune system, damage the heart, and accelerate cognitive decline. But beyond the science, it kills something even deeper, the will to keep living meaningfully. Humans are built to connect, especially as we age. If you've started choosing silence over conversation or distance over warmth, remember this. Staying connected doesn't mean being surrounded by people all the time. It means keeping your heart open. Join a club, attend church, call an old friend, talk to your neighbor across the street. Even a short chat can be a spark that reignites the warmth of being alive. Because as much as the world changes, one truth remains. No one grows happy in solitude. We all need someone to laugh with, to share a memory with, to remind us that we still matter. That's not weakness. That's humanity. Number 4, the bitter comparer. Few things eat away at the spirit of an older person like comparison does. This type of misery is quiet but relentless. These are the people who constantly measure their lives against others, comparing money, health, success, or even the behavior of their children. They sit at family gatherings and think, "Why is his life so much easier than mine?" Or, "She's so lucky her kids visit more often." He used to keep a running list in his head of who was doing better than him. When his friend bought a new car, he'd grumble. When another friend's grandkids graduated from college, he'd shake his head and say, "Must be nice." His home was filled with photos of the past, but almost none of the present, because in his mind, the present was something that kept proving how much he'd lost. He never realized that envy doesn't just make you resent others. It robs you of joy in your own life. When you spend your final decades looking sideways instead of forward, every blessing feels smaller than it is. You stop appreciating the comfort of your home, the love of your spouse, or the fact that you can still walk outside and feel the morning sun. If you catch yourself thinking, "I wish I had what they have," pause and remind yourself that someone out there is wishing they had your life, your breath, your chance to make peace with your story. There's an old saying that stuck with me. Comparison is the thief of joy. But I'd add, it's also the thief of dignity. You can't age gracefully while measuring your worth through someone else's mirror. You start losing yourself one comparison at a time. The happiest elders I've met all share one thing in common. They've stopped keeping score. They celebrate others genuinely. They don't need to win anymore because they've already realized that peace is the only real prize left. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, the resentful remember. The final and perhaps most painful kind of miserable elder is the one who lives in the past, but not with us. These are people who replay old wounds like a broken record, the betrayals, the failures, the words they can't forgive, the people they can't let go of. They cling to old pain as if it's proof that life wronged them. But in truth, it's that pain that's keeping them trapped. I met a man once named Charles in his late 70s. He used to sit at the cafe near the park, talking about the same event from 40 years ago. How his business partner cheated him, how his marriage fell apart, how he should have had a better life. He knew every detail of those stories, but none of what happened yesterday. Bitterness had consumed the space where hope used to live. You see, when resentment becomes your companion, it drains your ability to love. You start to believe no one deserves your kindness. You become suspicious of joy. You stop trusting that good things can still happen. And eventually, you punish yourself for sins you didn't even commit, by refusing to heal. The human heart, even at 80, is capable of forgiveness. But forgiveness isn't about letting others off the hook. It's about freeing yourself. It's about saying, I won't let this story define how I feel anymore. Because as long as you hold on to resentment, you're carrying a ghost that will never let you rest. If you want to live your final years in peace, don't look back in anger. Look back with understanding. Every scar you carry is a lesson, not a life sentence. You don't have to pretend those wounds didn't happen, but you also don't have to let them decide who you are. Old age is not meant to be a museum of regrets. It's meant to be a garden where the weeds of bitterness are pulled out and new gratitude can grow in their place. Because the truth is, peace doesn't come from forgetting what hurt you. It comes from realizing you survived it and you're still here. Final thoughts. In the end, growing old isn't what makes life miserable. The isolator, the comparer, the resentful. Remember, each of them lost sight of one simple truth. Peace is a choice, not a condition. You can have pain, loss, wrinkles, and gray hair and still live beautifully. Or you can have comfort and wealth and still feel empty. The difference lies in what you feed your heart each day. If you nourish resentment, you'll age bitterly. But if you nourish gratitude, kindness, and curiosity, you'll age with grace. I've seen both kinds of elders. The ones who can light up a room just by walking in, and the ones who drain the air around them. The only difference was attitude. The happiest old people are not those who avoided struggle. They're the ones who made peace with it. So I ask you, which one will you become? The one who clings to old hurts, or the one who keeps learning, forgiving, and living? You can't change how long you've lived, but you can absolutely change how you live from this moment on. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.